From Indiana going after another religious artifact to add to his collection, to him and Marion reliving a super romantic scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, here are Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny Easter eggs fans missed. You know how our adventurous hero always has a knack for tracking down famous artifacts? The Dial of Destiny is no different, because this time he goes in search of the Lance of Longinus. Right at the beginning of the movie, Indy teams up with his buddy Basil Shaw, who happens to be Helena's father, to look for the religious artifact also known as the Holy Lance. Did you know this lance is said to be the very one that pierced Jesus Christ's side during his crucifixion, way back in the day, like 2,000 years ago? This means the Lance of Longinus is a treasure like no other. Now, Indiana has had some pretty incredible finds in the past. Remember the Ark of the Covenant? That ancient chest that held the original tablets with the 10 Commandments? Yeah, he got his hands on all of those. And let's not forget about the Holy Grail, which was the chalice that Jesus drank from and offered his blood. So adding the Lance of Longinus to Jones's collection is kind of a cool connection to his previous adventures, even if it turns out to be a fake. Apart from that, this piece actually comes from an old comic series published by Dark Horse Comics, called Indiana Jones and the Spear of Destiny. In that story, Indy and his dad, Henry Jones Sr., go on a quest to find the Holy Lance after they happen to find Christ's chalice. Pretty neat, right? But while some adventures ended pretty excitingly in the past, it looks like one specifically caused a lot of pain for the Jones family. And that's Mutt Williams meeting his sad fate after joining the military. We all remember Indy's son from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And sure, back then, his greaser style didn't exactly win over our hearts, but many of us were wondering what happened to him after that. Looks like the answer wasn't something any of us were expecting. Because in a quiet little scene in Dial of Destiny, Helena asks Jones what he would do if he could go back in time. And he surprises us all by saying he would go back to his son. He would tell Mutt not to enlist in the military, because sadly, his fate was to die in the Vietnam War. It's a heartbreaking moment for Indiana as he reflects on the pain it caused his wife. And it's also a touching revelation that adds a whole new layer to the son's character, even after he's gone forever. It looks like family does play a big role in the Jones family, especially in his future adventure, because even years later, Indiana sees himself in Helena when she starts exploring her dad's diaries. Right from the get-go, it's clear that Helena is driven by her desire to find her father's obsession, the Dial of Archimedes. You know, the one that drove her old man crazy. Naturally, Indy gets a bit worried and wonders why she would want to take on such a dangerous adventure without even knowing the end goal. And this is when Helena simply fires back with a sassy, "Wouldn't you?" Looks like our girl here has got that adventurous spirit, just like our favorite archaeologist. Because let's not forget Indiana's own family history. In Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, he went on a thrilling adventure to track down his dear old dad, Henry Jones Sr., and follow the clues in his diary to uncover the secrets of the Holy Grail. So when Helena takes up the quest to find her father's prize dial, it's a beautiful parallel to Indy's own journey. He knows better than anyone the importance of honoring and following in the footsteps of a beloved parent. But hey, apart from that, this is also the man who's the most experienced when it comes to choosing his weapons when going into a fight. Except, well, he gets his arms mixed up in the Dial of Destiny. We know this adventurer usually relies on his trusty whip to get him out of tight spots. But Indy isn't afraid to pack some heat either when the situation calls for it. If you recall what happened in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, there's this epic, famous action sequence where Jones comes face to face with this skilled swordsman, who's blocking his path to save Marion. And instead of engaging in a drawn-out fancy sword fight to the death, Indiana just whips out his revolver and bam, shoots the swordsman down in a flash. It's one of those iconic scenes that perfectly captures Indy's practical approach to things. I mean, why bring a whip to a gunfight, right? Well, In Dial of Destiny, we get a little reversal of that iconic moment when Jones finds himself in a room full of enemies. He's all ready to crack his trusty whip and take him on like the fighter he is. But guess what? Everybody else in the room pulls out a gun. Talk about bad luck, am I right? It's an awkward moment when our hero is staring down the barrels of dozens of guns, and he realizes maybe going old-fashioned with the whip wasn't the smartest move after all. But still, this scene is a fun little nod to that classic fight sequence, and a reminder that sometimes you gotta adapt to survive. Speaking of reminders, let's not forget the iconic Wilhelm scream making a comeback in Dial of Destiny. This famous sound effect has been used in many movies, including Lucasfilm's Star Wars and Indiana Jones franchises. But it's in the Temple of Doom where you might have heard it more than once. And guess what? We got to hear it again in the Dial of Destiny too. The scream comes when a younger Indiana is fighting off the fascists like a boss, while trying to rescue his friend and get his hands on the Lance of Longinus. And in one moment, one of the evil dudes is hanging onto a train. So Indy gives him a little shove and sends him flying off onto the tracks. That's when the unlucky fascist let out a death cry. And you betcha, it's the good old Wilhelm scream. Fun fact, not only has that sound been around for ages, but it also usually pops up when minor characters meet their doom. Over the years, it's become a staple of the Indiana Jones movies too. And I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say his movies just wouldn't feel right without it. When it comes to that, there are even certain characters that have existed in this franchise for so long that it's always nice to see them making a comeback in the upcoming movies. And in the Dial of Destiny, it's our good old friend Sala, who's made one final return in this last installment. This guy is the fez-wearing, enthusiastic companion who's been by Indy's side in many of his adventures. In the last movie, though, he's living in New York City with his family, all thanks to Jones helping them relocate to America. Sala even plays the role of a taxi driver and gives Indiana a ride to the airport. But that's not all. In a lovely callback, we get to hear Sala sing a British tar, which was a song he sang for Indiana's wife in one of their previous adventures. It's a heartwarming moment that brings back memories of the good old days, and feels like a final goodbye between our favorite archaeologist and his trusty friend. While we're on the topic of touching scenes, let's not forget the beautiful moment between Marion and Jones that will tug at your heartstrings like crazy. Remember in Raiders of the Lost Ark, when Indy's injured and he points to where it doesn't hurt? And what does Marion do? She kisses exactly where he points, making the whole scene one of the most intimate moments the two lovers have ever shared. Well, hold on to your hats, because Dial of Destiny replicates that moment in a stunning way. Despite going through a rocky divorce, Indy and Marion find their way back to each other after the tragic death of their son. It's a powerful moment as they receive the spark they once had and find happiness in each other again. Then comes a similar moment when Jones says those familiar words, "Where doesn't it hurt?" And Marion points to the same spots as her lover did in the first movie. How romantic. It's also a beautiful way to bring their love story full circle and close the chapter on these iconic characters in the most heartwarming way. So, there you have it. From Indiana and Marion reliving a super romantic scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, to him going after another religious artifact to add to his collection, these were Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny Easter eggs fans missed.